Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif for 300 bucks. Is it worth it? What's going on, guys? My name's Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. Today we're going to be talking about the brand new Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif, but before we go ahead and do that, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Does that even work? I don't even feel like that works. I watch a bunch of YouTube and I'm just like, dude, like, all right, skip. This is the newest release by Chanel, the Bleu L'Exclusif. If you're watching this video, then you've already done a significant amount of research as to whether or not this is worth the pickup, including some of the notes. So without wasting too much time telling you about something you could easily find, we're going to tell you about the notes.
Now go ahead, don't be shy.
Buckle up because you're in for just a few. It's woody notes, amber, labdanum, and sandalwood. But you gotta know a little something to know what it actually smells like, including a lot of its flankers and all the other notes in a lot of other fragrances. This right here opens up with a very reminiscent freshness of some bergamot, grapefruit, even this ginger and lavender combination that you'll find with their other flankers and very signature to the whole Bleu de Chanel DNA. More specifically, parfum. The parfum had the woodiest sandalwood style of dry down that was dark and more seductive, if you will. Kind of taking something that was like louder and more youthful in the beginning flankers like the eau de toilette and eau de parfum and turning it into something more sophisticated, elegant, and something that doesn't really scream for attention. The last release was, I mean, you guys, it's been over 10 years since they've dropped anything, if I'm not mistaken. And in fact, it was 2010, so 15 years. So although it's a long time, at least they weren't sending us like 30 different flankers and tainting the whole identity of this fragrance and not really creating a culture around this DNA that's like, buy the next, buy the next, buy the next. So I'm for it, but I'm also against the fact that it was like 15 years later and you end up with this. So although it's been a long time, I'm kind of in favor of that to, instead of, you know, destroy the name of this to money grab, basically, they waited a significant amount of time and then finally came back with something that's more trending and modern. The main difference between this and that parfum version is going to be the inclusion of ambers and some kind of animalistic amber, more specifically, and piney nuance, which smells to me like this raunchy olibanum along with labdanum and ambers. No way, Neeb. Isn't that what the notes say? Yeah, it is. It is. So it smells basically like the original Bleu de Chanel parfum, blended with one of their signature and one of my favorite amber scents that is a little bit musky and slightly animalistic, a little bite. It's not animalistic in like the poop territory, but it does have just like a you sexy, dirty, you stanky, you know, with an A, not stink. It doesn't stink. It just smells like sex.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm not even joking. Like, it has this animalistic, musky vibe that just smells like that. And even vanillic as well, that you'll find in Le Lion. So it'll give you a glimpse of the Le Lion DNA along with the Bleu de Chanel parfum. It doesn't just stop there, though. The addition of that raunchy and piney style of frankincense is what makes this one trend towards the Middle Eastern realm or side of things. Very similar to what Y Elixir is. Y Elixir was that original DNA that's blue shower jelly with the added note of piney resins. That in itself mimics something traditional to me and the Middle Eastern realm of bahur, or for example, resins, frankincense, luban, olibanum. And that's what this one smells like it has also the addition of. So it doesn't just smell like it just adds an ambery nature. No, there is definitely something that's piney, raunchy, and green in this one, borderline incensey. And it makes sense why they dropped this at this time the way that it smells, much like the Y Elixir did. It's trending. I've godfathered these Middle Eastern fragrances from the inception of their time, and it's become the trend. And right now and today, it's all everybody's talking about. I started off talking Middle Eastern a lot and heavily because I love them. And it's no surprise that since it started its trend, a lot of the other successful brands that do high quality stuff would also modernize by following a trend. It's not a bad thing per se, because what is modernization if not following a trend? Whatever is modern is basically trending. So that doesn't come with that negative connotation that most people will associate, but rather it just shows an adaptation or a willingness to adapt based on the current market. So long story short, boys, this, in my opinion, is the only relevant one today. Before this one came out, I was bored of this DNA, and it just lost relevance. It lost whatever it was good at. It smells great. The quality is immaculate, and Chanel does really good quality fragrances, and it's no wonder they protect their DNAs because of that, right? And even the original BDCs, you can't really dupe them or anything like that because there's certain qualities. Chanel is one of the few houses that give us a certain objective quality, and I'll argue with it. I know it's expensive, you guys. I spent the money to buy it, okay? They're not sending these things out. I spent around 300 bucks, and I'll still tell you that the sources of ingredients, or the The smell of the ingredients is very specific to them, indicating or leading me to believe that they use captives. Not just belief, but I've also confirmed this. For example, the musk that they use and the amber that they use in labdanum in this, you can smell it in this. Why? Because it's a captive, which is a signature to them. They've invested time, money, resources, and even research and technologies to develop their accord of musks and ambers that's specific to them, that cannot be replicated. So in a sense, when you talk about higher price points and luxuries and what they're offering, it's kind of like make the reason for me to purchase. And those captives do. They give you more work, they give you more exclusivity, exclusive line, and they end up with a higher price tag. Marked up, of course, but they gotta make their money too. It is a little bit more marked up than I would personally like, and considering the performance of this one, I think it should have been somewhere around 200 to 220, in my opinion. Performance on skin is no more than about 4 to 5 hours, or 6 hours tops, and it left me craving a lot, because the best portion of this fragrance was the opening. I love that raunch and that resin pine, and then those ambers, and as it starts to dry down, it almost separates in its scent, and you can quite literally pinpoint that's Bleu de Chanel, and that's the ambers and the addition of that raunchy olibanum. While it might not be a mush of a fragrance or like blended significantly, it's still really good. I could just sense the differences, and that doesn't indicate a bad fragrance. It just means that it has multi-facets. There are some brands that just try to do too much. It just smells like shit. But this smells like it's supposed to be there. This is like the answer to why Elixir. Smell them both, and theoretically, you'll see a similar style of steps that were taken in composition, not similar scent. It's still blue, it's still shower gel, it's just more ambery, resinous, and piney. And honestly, it's striking resemblances to something like Y Elixir in the way that it was built. Please don't take this away and to go say, oh, it smells like Y Elixir. No, but it's in the same family. A more modernized Middle Eastern take on Bleu de Chanel is what this is. Simple as that. The clothing longevity, it did last damn near the entire day. It's just on skin, it didn't do that well. But I did forget what I was wearing around hour 8 because it started to dry down into much more of just a Bleu de Chanel. And as of today, in 2025, BDC is like, it's old. It's not bad. Premium. It's great if you rock it. It's just old. It's boring now, at least for me personally, okay? And especially considering how many DNAs we have out there nowadays. There are a lot that you can grab, but if you wanted to be one and done and safe, it would still be a DNA worth grabbing. In a nutshell, this is currently the best one, period. It's the most sophisticated. It's grown with us in its time. You have probably grown, if you are one who's been enjoying this from the EDT, throughout the parfum, and it's kind of matured in that sense. And now it's also grown and matured into this one. Warmer, earthier, and more resinous and mature. It's called Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif. Now, I'm not encouraging that you go and buy it, but I do encourage you go to sniff it. They have it in their boutiques and all that good stuff. It's a steep ask, man. It's a steep ask. I would buy it again, but I also would encourage you to go and smell these both in store. One, because you may discover a great amber fragrance that's, like I said, although animalistic, it's not in the poopy territory. It's more in the stank with an A. And then also you can kind of see what I was talking about, the similarities in more premium houses that do captives, and you'll smell the labdanum and ambers that are similar from this into this. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's my honest opinion and review on Bleu de Chanel. I'd buy it again. I love the scent. I think it's one of the best ones right now. Whether or not it's worth $300 is completely up to you, but don't expect this to be on discounters. This and Dior's are hardly ever on discounters, but there are certain similar scent profiles that can get relatively closer to something like Y Elixir, etc. But there's always cheaper alternatives, and you can count on your boy, Middle Eastern or not Middle Eastern, to find you those alternatives. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss those, including something like our Moth Connoisseur, which does a similar territory of fresh shower gel, piney, and a little ambery, more like Y Elixir, and also Lattaf's Fakar Platin. Great longevity and performance, and both of these are less than $50. This one, though, still really good, and there aren't any. Before you even ask in the comment section, no, there isn't one in the comment section yet. But also keep in mind, I don't think they'll ever get that close, especially with Chanel, and they've tried. And it all goes back to the captives and, you know, the research and stuff, and premium ingredients, you pay premium price. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.